From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the real zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another conversation with Trent and his beautiful friends. Good stuff, good stuff. We had a great time on last Sunday. Shannon and I. Coach Dee was off. She'll be here today, pulling up the rear. But we're going to do a part 2 on situationships. Shannon and I had some very interesting GuMbOtAlk on Sunday. Quite interesting, and Shannon's supposed to have some numbers for me. A certain question I asked her, so hopefully she can get those answers to me so she can get that coffee. Wink, wink, nod, nod. So good stuff, man. Real good stuff, man. Actually, I had a great conversation with Catherine Getto, nutritious coach over in France. We podcast every Thursday morning at 7 a.m. here in the States, and live over in France at the 14 hour. So it's a great show. We talked about plant-based and nutritious, plant-based and vegan diet. So had a great one. You guys check that out on Apple when you get a chance. Real good information, very informative information from the expert nutritious coach Catherine Getto over in France. So good stuff, man. I got a couple of clips that I pulled that Shannon and I from the podcast on last Sunday. So it's going to be quite interesting. And hopefully Shannon has that answer. And I have a guest coming through to talk about a potential situationship. Actually, I talked to her over at the gym, and her name is Tiffany. But I stopped her short of telling me the story because I wanted her to share it with the ladies so she can get their opinion on it, especially Coach Dee. And we'll talk about why people get into situationships and why things happen like that, and why people go into relationship and situationships blindly at sometimes, to be honest with you. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today, and I was telling her, in my opinion, I think that most women fall victims to situationships because most times they're on that end of the situationship that they know nothing about. So we'll see what the ladies say about it. Let's bring the ladies in, and we'll bring Tiff in a moment. But let's introduce the ladies on the panel, folks. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hello. Oh, Coach Dee got the hair flowing today. What's going on?
Xavier got sick and threw up in it. So I had to wash my hair. Pretty much. That's pretty much it.
Okay, Coach Dee.
That's how it is. That's real life.
That's my little man's better. He's better. Is he better?
Oh yeah, he's good. It was some stomach bug he picked up. But I went to CVS to get medicine, and they were out. They had no liquid children's Motrin, no acetaminophen, no ibuprofen. And I asked one of the ladies, she's like, you don't got anything for fever for kids? She's like, nah, everybody's sick. Everybody's sick.
Yeah, wow. I believe it.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was traveling a couple of weeks ago. She went up through the Carolinas up into New York, where she's from, and visited her son up there. And she was like sick. She was like, I am back. I'm like, well, we're going to hold off for about... I haven't told her yet.
You be quarantining your friends.
Yeah, Shannon, you know all too well. Well, yeah, I do. But I didn't tell her that. But normally we'll get together for lunch and whatnot, hang out. But I'm kind of waiting till that bug, gets completely out of her system and hang out with her.
Yeah, but you don't want what these kids are getting because it's coming out both ends at the same time. It's not pretty.
Exactly.
Not pretty.
Ew. Oh, okay. Ew.
You guys know I'd be masked up. And then if you cough a little different. Like
I can tell you what I just saw in my backyard. It's a white deer. It is the coolest thing ever.
Did you get a picture?
Did you get a picture? Yeah.
Yeah, I posted some pictures on Facebook.
Oh, I can look. Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen a white deer. I didn't even know there was such a thing.
Yeah, I've never seen it either. And I think the cat saw it yesterday because she was focused on looking out the patio doors out into the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Little wench kept it to herself.
That's the one thing I miss living in Michigan, we used to see them and have them in the backyard all the time.
White deer?
No deer, period.
Just deer. Oh, well, I mean,
They'd be in the
honestly,
backyard just doing their thing, and I used to love that.
we have a whole family that are here in our backyard all the time. Every night is at least like 6 or 7 of them. I can drive up into the driveway and they're there.
Yeah, my brothers and I, we're actually raised on that stuff because my dad had a hunting lodge, so we used to go
So
deer hunting. Yeah,
ate a lot of venison, huh?
Absolutely. So,
makes a mean chili.
Yep, I enjoy.
Right. You don't know the difference between it and beef.
Yeah.
I love sweet and sour moose. It's absolutely delicious. It's so good.
Moose?
Yes, you can. That's really good though. It's real good though.
Okay.
You'd enjoy it, Shannon. You would enjoy it.
What is it similar? Like what is it just similar to like beef
like
or
sweet and sour beef?
Okay.
It's like beef, but it's very tender though. Very, very tender.
Yeah. So
very tender. Yeah.
All right. Well, we got our 2 viewers joining us already. We've got your favorite cheerleader in the house, Mark. Good evening and welcome.
What up,
and
Slash?
Your gentle giant is there. Your big brother is there. So welcome.
I see you, Al Sal, Mr. Ready to Mingle. I see you, Al Sal.
Yes, I heard about. You know what? Is he trying to get into some situationships already?
I think he is. Hey, let me tell you a funny story about him before we get up. We bring Tiff in and we talk a little bit. So, he cleaned out the entire home and he purchased a new bedroom set, right? Mm-hmm. So, I guess once he got it in delivered, he sent me a picture. He was like, bro, I think I'm ready to mingle. I was like, sit your ass down.
Just because he got a new bed, was he trying to break it in?
Hey, he got the type of thing going all over.
You need to heal from your last relationship before you move on to the next one. You know that.
Alvin, what? Yeah. Alvin,
do you hear that, Al Sal? You hear that?
What you trying to do? You trying to throw some notches on the bed already? I'm trying to get an understanding here.
You got the fancy bed, and you can plug your iPhone or plug whatever in the charger and the lights on the headboard.
Wait a minute. The most important question: did you get good sheets? Because don't no woman want to come over there and be in the cheap sheets. It's only $200-$300.
From the looks of it, looks like some good sheets and some good comforters. So I was like, wow. He has a tiger theme. I said, what you trying to?
Looks like it is. Are 2 different things.
Oh, y'all knock it off. Men don't go by that.
Well, if you want to be out there mingling, you need to have some good thread count sheets.
Al, get the thread count together, man. I guarantee they'll be sleeping on it like a baby. Get them thread count together.
Get you a satin pillowcase too.
They love for their hair. Yeah. For the hair. I said, I know a little bit.
Well, we know the hoe in the house. No, you should know. Sorry.
So we had a great conversation, man. Minus D on Sunday, which got kind of interesting. And I got a couple of calls on that, and I was actually kind of looking sideways at some of the things that Shannon was sharing with us. I was like, wow, this, because I never knew, because Shannon said I'm not outside as much.
Yeah, you're not.
So I'm kind of green and whatnot, what have you. But D, Shan was saying some things about how people are actually open to going into these situationships. And I know I want to get down to the trauma, and I know you're going to get down to the trauma of it. So it was quite interesting. I found that quite interesting, some of the things that she shared. But I'm going to play a couple clips before we get started so we can warm you up and get you going. And one thing, one of our very faithful viewers, Tamika, said, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Who's he warming up?
I think you.
I'm messing with
warming up, sir.
I know you don't stop.
I don't know.
Well, one of our very faithful viewers, Tamika, over at the gym, she was like, "Ooh, Coach Dee's going." She wasn't there this week, but she's going to have some fun with this one. I said, "Yeah, she definitely will. She definitely will." So let's see. We're gonna pull this first clip up, and then we'll get Tiffany to get this thing going. And like I said, I stopped her mid-sentence because I didn't want to hear about it till you guys heard about her almost situation. It sounds like it's gonna be a little juicy. So we're gonna pull back and go to this first clip. One sec. I'll tell you in a minute. Mark's comment. I'll tell you in a minute what I thought.
He says, as with each show, I'm watching and listening to overstand. So you each have never been in a situationship. If so, what are the pros and cons?
I have.
Yes, I have. But honestly, it was, God, this was back when I was still in the military. Yeah, I did.
I've been in a ton of situationships.
I bet you have, sir.
I was in a full-blown situationship with the woman who was in a relationship, but I was the main guy. Should I run that back and replay
Whoa,
that?
yeah, say that again. Rewind.
I was in a full-blown situationship with the woman who was in a relationship, but I was the main guy.
How were you the main guy?
I was the main guy.
But how?
Quite interesting. So we'll start there. We'll start there. Quite interesting. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start there about situationships. And the question that came up during my conversation with a friend of mine, I had a question like, are women more better at hiding relationships than men? In my personal experience, I'm gonna say yes. Like the situation I was in a situationship and she was in a full-blown relationship, but I was the main guy. I had keys to her home and everything, but she was in a full-blown relationship.
That's not a situationship. That's cheating. It's
right.
different.
But I'm trying to understand, what are you talking about hiding something? We weren't talking about that last weekend.
No. That's one of the questions that I came up with for today. But go ahead.
Go ahead, Coach Dee. I think Coach Dee said it very plainly that was cheating.
Yeah. So situationship and cheating are two different things.
It was 5 years, Dee. It was 5 years I was in that situationship.
Yeah.
That wasn't a fling. It wasn't a fling.
Yes, it is. It's still a fling. You can be, listen, there are plenty of side chicks who are special friends in obituaries. Plenty of them. Right?
Well, I wasn't in a relationship though. I wasn't in a relationship. We used to go on vacations and everything.
Well, the way you talked, you were, since you said you were the main guy.
That's the way she treated me, I guess, because I was, taking care of. I don't know.
1 second, my battery dying.
I don't know.
Listen,
situationships
and cheating are different. Does situations turn into cheating? Yeah, of course. Right?
Absolutely.
But here's the thing: you can have a situationship and nobody's cheating on nobody.
Right.
Because people are in, it always goes back to the relationship.
Right. So you mean
right?
So you mean to tell me that
anytime you're in a relationship, it always goes back to the 4 attachment styles. So let's review.
Go ahead.
What?
I think your internet's lagging.
Yeah, there's a reason my internet's lagging.
I know.
Uh-oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's why we held off on
say hi to the 3-letter folks.
Exactly. That's why we held off.
Look, wait a minute. Do we hold on? Are we safe?
we definitely safe, but we've actually hit the international market, and I knew it was going to come at some point. So we're over in the European market now. And
okay, sir, you getting off topic. We can talk about that later.
I'm explaining to the viewers, knock it off.
We just need the 4 attachment styles. She said we were going back to the 4 attachment styles.
Right. Because every relationship is based on the 4 attachment styles, right? So we'll do a quick review for those who missed it part. The many times we've done it. So we have the secure attachment style, right? Individuals with secure attachment feel comfortable with intimacy. Oh, did we lose them?
No, go ahead. You good.
We got
intimacy and independence. They trust partner to express their need feelings openly, right? Anxious attachment. People with anxious attachment often worry about abandonment and seek reassurance. They may be overly sensitive to their parents' actions and may be easily hurt. That's the clingy folks. Avoidant attachment. Those with avoidant attachment tend to be emotionally distant and prefer to maintain independence. This is where the situationships come up. They may avoid discussing deep feelings and may struggle with intimacy. And then you have the 4th one is, this is where you have a lot of trauma. So disorganized attachment. Individuals with disorganized attachment often have a history of trauma or instability, which can lead to mixed behaviors in relationships. They want closeness, but they pull away at the same time, right? Because they have there's this fear of abandonment, all the trauma that goes along with it. So everybody's in one of those 4 styles. Most of us, we would like to think we're in a secure attachment style, but we not necessarily all are. Like if you're just coming out of a relationship, you may be in an anxious attachment style at that specific period in your life, right? Maybe you got cheated on, maybe they were mentally abusive, whatever's going on. So you may need a lot more reassurance, and you may be overly sensitive at that time because of what's just happened in your life.
Right. Let's grab these comments real quick.
That was just Mark greeting Alvin. He says the game needs you. As far as the distractions we're hearing, you don't ask a deer how to hunt one.
Always count on Slash for some great commentary from the comments section. Good stuff.
If you say so. Okay.
Good stuff. So tell Coach Dee about the stuff that you were sharing with me, where these guys over in Atlanta.
So we were talking about how now, kind of what we run into or you experience today is how men are presenting themselves and thinking that they should still be a viable option to some women. So, now it's kind of like you'll have men who are different, that they live with somebody, live in somebody's basement, live with somebody they dated, live with their mama, don't have their own transportation, may not have their financial situation together, just all this stuff.
Here's the thing that took me for a loop.
Hold on, that they're presenting as the norm. So Trent couldn't believe that was the case, and I'm like, yeah, it is the case. There are a lot of men out here who think that they're still viable, even having bringing that to the table. So those times when we ask, what are you bringing to the table? That's what they're bringing to the table. Meanwhile, you got all these women out here providing the table, the chairs, the bench, and everything else.
But here's what took me for a loop, that these guys were open and honest with them about their situation, where their living situation, sometimes with the girlfriend, and they were okay with that. That was kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, because some women are fine with dating a man with a wife, but not if he lives with his mother.
That's interesting. That's quite interesting. That is quite interesting.
What kind of attachment style is that, do you think?
I don't know. You tell me. I haven't coached in years on top of you, so coach me.
And be avoidant. Because here's the thing, if you're with somebody cannot commit to you because they're committed to somebody else, that gives you a certain level of intimacy, but it's not going to go past a certain pace because they can't commit to you. Right? Everybody's like, the side chicks are winning. I'm like, the side chicks never win. Because when it comes down to it, that little piece of paper matters. If somebody dies, you ain't getting the insurance money. The wife is getting the insurance money.
Interesting. Yeah. Let's bring Tiff in there before we get to after we get to
Mark said, "Hey, yo, Mr. Epic, you got to stop volunteering to take the stand."
Listen, Mark, I tell him that all the time. Putting on shoes nobody asked him to wear.
Right.
What stand did I take? What are you talking about? What did I do? What did I do? Tell me, what did I do? What did I do?
Mark, he doesn't know what stand he took tonight, sir. You got to let him know. It's a condition.
I take the stand with these ladies every single week. Every single week I take the stand because I take responsibility for the toxic I brought to the party. So I have to lead by example.
Let me put on a lip gloss I had to buy myself.
Now, why we got to start the show by talking about money? We talk about international sales, and now they talking money. Now they talking money, especially that Canadian. They talking money.
They had to get you off. You're talking about yourself.
D, you ought to see what he doing over there. So we up here begging for lip gloss.
Shannon, don't stop. Can you stop, Shannon? Stop. Well, D know because I called her. She knows.
I'm just saying.
Xavier watches the numbers. Don't you worry.
I love
You
these
think
ladies. I
you don't want
love
to
these
negotiate with
ladies.
him, man. You do not want to
At
negotiate
all.
with him.
At all. At
Nope.
all. I love these ladies. I wouldn't be nothing without them.
It's about
I
time you
would,
recognize that and stated that fact out loud and publicly.
Shannon, don't get on my bad side tonight. I'm having a good time. I'm having
Sir,
a good time.
sir, you just got off mine less than
Knock it
24
off.
hours ago.
Is Tiffany
Why are you talking
waiting,
about
or
those stuff?
are you
Yeah,
Yeah,
two
let's
gonna
let's
argue
get
it
let's
all?
get Tiffany in. Let's get Tiffany in there. We're gonna Gumbo talk with her for 5 minutes. Then she'll go to the comment section. Then we'll get back to it. Let's bring Tiffany in one sec.
Hey guys.
Tiffany, Tiff.
Hi,
Hey,
Hi
welcome.
there.
thank you. How
So
y'all
this
doing?
is Tiffany. This is Tiffany. She works over at my gym. We're always chatting up as a bunch of us. We're a family of folks over there. So she's family. So good stuff. That's Coach D at the
Loving the
bottom with you. And
eyeshadow.
uh-oh.
Wait, what'd you say? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I said I'm loving the eyeshadow.
Oh, thank you. I mixed 2 different colors to get it. Night
Good
kiss.
stuff. Good stuff.
All right.
So this is Coach D that's down at the bottom for you with you, and that's Shannon
Okay.
Banana up at the top over there.
Nice to
Good
meet you guys.
stuff.
You too. Thanks for coming on and being brave
Nice to
enough
meet you.
to tell us your story.
Oh God, tell me about it.
So the
um,
situationship that I stopped you from saying, because I didn't hear it at all, folks. I just stopped you. I was like, what we're gonna do, just come on the podcast and talk to the ladies about it. So go ahead, Tiff.
all right, so which one do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about Mr. Midlife Crisis, or do you want to talk about the nurse who almost got there but didn't?
I
Well,
want to
let's
talk
wait.
the one that
Can-
I said that the potential fellatio,
What?
The potential what?
the whole
Oh,
smelly
Mr.
thing that
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. That's the nurse.
Yeah,
Mr.
go
Oh,
ahead.
Doctor.
oh, okay.
Go
So
ahead.
technically, I met him on, I think it was Bumble, if I'm not mistaken. I was in college at the time. And, you know, when the person they're dating around, they're single, potentially, I don't know what his status really was. Don't care, still don't. But at the time, he sort of presented it to me in the sense of I'm not really looking for anything too serious, but kind of branching around. That usually means I'm not looking for shit with you. That's the way to put it.
Yep.
Or they're not trying to put out there exactly what they want because they're insecure about it, whatever. So I was kind of like, okay, well, we'll see where this goes. Because I had to have some kind of trial around here. I didn't have that much dating experience at the time. So I was like, well, here we go. So, I went over to his place. And so we met up. He picked me up from the dorm. We went over to his place. And I'm not going to deny, I'm a Latin woman. I have needs. And I planned on sleeping with him. I figured not attempt to do this once in my life, right off the bat, even though it's not typically what I would do. But I figured to at least say I scratched it off my list. Yeah, no, that was an absolute hell no for me. So we got on his couch, and I went down to level 1. Didn't do anything down there. Y'all, he smelled like absolute shit. Disgraceful, disgusting, unhygienic. No. I absolutely immediately regretted it. Immediately kicked back. I think something inside linked back in where I was kind of like, this is a sign that whatever it is that I thought I was coming here to do was not for me. So, to save myself in the situation, I told him, I had an epiphany, and I think I'm a lesbian. I was like, I can't do that. And mind you, I'm not. I'm straight as hell. I can only go out with dudes because that's the only thing I'm attracted to. And I told him, I'm like, look, I really need you to give me a ride back. I'm sorry, I can't do this. I can't. I'm sorry. So he drove me back to the dorm. And when he brought me back, he had parked downstairs at the corner where my dorm was. I had 3 water balloons in my dorm, and I had put a little bit of glitter in them. So I'd gone up and I literally lunged them at him, like basically humiliating him for smelling like crap down there.
Oh, God.
I'm not saying I was a saint, still not. At the time, that was my way of coping with it. I just couldn't believe that the person didn't clean themselves enough, or like whatever he had going on. Yeah, it wasn't for me. I knew I had to get that frustration out.
Oh, God. Oh,
Here's where I
God.
want to start. I'm gonna stop you right there, Tiffany, real quick. So
Okay.
when Tiffany, like I let her stop right there before the potential fellatio. So I blurted out in the gym. I said, wait a minute. So you were getting ready? So you had planned to get this guy fellatio? So she was like, Trent,
Why don't you just say blowjob?
Right.
Yeah, right.
I'm a gentleman. I can't do that.
Oh, God. Okay. All right.
I'm a gentleman. But
That-
so
Well, I was trying to prepare him, for the next part, but no.
Ew.
No.
Ew.
That does not surprise me, because I have seen in chats where men admit to not washing between their cheeks because they consider that gay.
Disgusting.
No. You need to wash
Yeah.
between. You need
They
to put the
need to
tip of the towel in. All
They
that
need
kind
to
of
lift
stuff.
everything up. Their nuts, their wiener, the center
Yep.
of the crack of their behind.
Right.
Need to clean
That's
all
funny.
that crap out. Just like we clean it out, they need to clean it.
Oh, yeah.
Their
Yeah.
armpits and under their breasts as well. All of it.
All right. So tell us about Mr. Midlife Crisis, because that's where the situationship is, right?
That's where the situation is. That one didn't really go anywhere either. That one was a little bit more psychological. So with that one, again, lack of experience, but still trying to get out there. From what I had gathered at the time, I was working in retail and I was stationed at a certain post. And he had a tendency to pass by. He worked, in that realm, doing stuff for a separate department, but he still worked in the vicinity where I worked in. So yeah, I would usually see him pass by. Thought he was interesting looking, so I'd started asking around, like, "Hey, does anybody know if this dude's single or what his status is?" That's usually my way of sort of gathering a little bit of information before really making an effort to talk to the person. Over time, I started gathering info in the sense of, like, he's not divorced, he's just separated. And that was pretty much the consensus of it. So as I gathered a little bit more info in whatever way I have to do it, I began finding out that, officially the guy really wasn't fully divorced. He had a girlfriend who he had bought a property with and a side hoe in the same vicinity, in which I was also able to see and did not appreciate seeing up close, because he handed her his credit card. She walked right into the store, popped a kiss on her mouth, and I knew that wasn't his girlfriend. His girlfriend was more within his age bracket, maybe like late 40s. This dude was like mid 40s. Girlfriend had to be my age, maybe a little older than me. So, yeah, I started noticing that there's a lot that you pick up on when you step back and just watch. There's a lot of info that you can gather when you pull back. At least I started to do so, because when I started seeing all these little things over time, I just started ignoring the living daylights out of him. And it seemed to prompt him to come around even more and more every time. Like, he would come in, he would stand by the column there next to me. He knew where I was stationed at, so he would just kind of stand there. He'd signal with his hands in his pockets, all kinds of crazy stuff. Sometimes would walk down the stairs and see if I was there, poking around the corner, all kinds of stuff. And I pretty much just played the cards as best as I could to keep him kind of like zooming around. But in the end, from what I learned from it, I didn't go through with it. I did a lot of stuff that I'm not proud of. There were two guys too that they had come around at one point, and they had come out of one of the stores there, where I had worked at. And I was telling them, I'm like, why'd y'all pay full price for this crap, Go back in there, return it. I got a contact. He'll get it for you half price. Went back in, returned it. They got it half price. And they came out. I'm like, here's the deal. I need y'all to sit up here and talk to me for a couple hours. You know, basically that tactic is called triangulation. And I'm well aware of the manipulative tactic at that. But sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to see how far MFers are going to go.
So would you say that was a potential situationship that you avoided?
It's potential, but I kind of ignited it on both ends. I was entertaining it psychologically, but physically I knew I wouldn't consume it. Because the concept of, like, for example, being a side chick or entertaining what you would call situationships, like the Miss Coach, I'm sorry, is it I'm sorry if I got your name messed up.
D.
I apologize. You made a good point earlier. Typically, if the person is not legally binded to that person on any paperwork, there is no financial benefit or any benefit of any kind. So there really is no genuine benefit of entertaining somebody on the side and it ending positively. I know a lot of women, typically women, some, not all, tend to entertain situations in hopes that the man is going to, like, you know, find something in them and, like, stick around. And even though there's a slim chance that that dude may stick around, it doesn't mean he can't do it to them as well. So you have to think about it like that. If he's doing that shit to someone else, he'll do it to you. You're no exception. So for me, the way I was seeing him doing what he was doing to these other people, especially to the one, I felt worse, more so for the girlfriend, because I saw the way that she grabbed him by his face this one time, and she practically worshipped the ground this man walked on, you know, and she really tended to him in ways that I used to do when I was with my ex-spouse. And they're distinctive from that of when he was handing his credit card to his side whore. It's completely different. It made me feel bad for her because of how much she was investing in potentially in this situation. Imagine having a whole place and paying rent and everything with the guy, like.
Right. Now, my opinion, it's just my opinion after having, you know, conversations with Tiffany, and you actually fall in that same survey group with YouGov business surveys, where 50%, 18 to 34, close to 40 people would go into a situationship knowing that it would take place. I've had multiple conversations, which I believe that you, like me personally, I believe that let's just call him Dr. McDreamy. You go into a situation with Dr. McDreamy. We'll just call him Dr. McDreamy.
Are you talking about the doctor?
Yeah, that's
his case. Hate to say it, he's a joke, but in his case, I think that he thinks he's pulling one over me, but it's like I already have the upper hand, technically, because I already saw him at the mall with the woman. Like, even if he hid behind his daughter, I saw you. And yet you still insist, and you come around by my job and does all this stuff, even tries to use my kid as a way of being like, hey, what's up? How's the baby doing? Like, great.
So we'll stop right there because we don't know if Dr. McDreamy is actually watching here. But ladies and gentlemen, there is a Dr. McDreamy on Dee's side. Yes. And that's Dr. McDreamy at the gym. So I said Dr. McDreamy because I don't want to out the guy here at the gym. So
my Doc McDreamy is getting married in like 4 months.
What?
That's good stuff. Real good stuff. Good stuff.
Wait, but he's the one that you kind of we're kind of giving him some help afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was giving him I started coaching him because he definitely wasn't paying attention. But I coached him. He found his do you remember the show where it had the really hippy dippy girl and the business guy? Dharma and Greg.
Oh.
Right? So I was like, he found his Dharma. And she's quirky, amazing, absolutely adores him, and he worships the ground she walks on. And I love them to death. They're like,
now
they're
the question
perfect
is,
together.
Will you go to the wedding?
Oh, I can't wait to go to the wedding.
I'm sure
I'm
she would. Why
invited.
wouldn't she? If she's
invited.
coaching him, what would keep her from going to the wedding?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's quite interesting.
What,
So, hey,
why
Tiff, we're gonna get out of it.
it.
We're gonna get out of it and go to the next segment because we got another clip to play. I really appreciate you coming on. I really appreciate you always, talking about the podcast, acting about the podcast, all that good stuff, man. And I love to have you on again with the part 2 of Dr. McDreamy because I don't think it's over with Dr. McDreamy.
Now,
'Cause
look,
I'm more than
besides
sure.
Dr.
I'm more than
McDreamy,
sure.
this is good
I'm more
stuff.
than
Like I'm invested
exactly.
now.
I'm more than sure I'm going to see him tomorrow. I'm more than sure I'm
Oh
going to see him
God.
tomorrow. So
We'll see if we
I
see
don't-
him around.
Wait, so just let me. So Doc Madreamy's married with kids?
Dr. Madreamy is technically single. He's divorced.
Okay, he's officially divorced with papers.
Correct.
Okay, all right. I said to get cut off. I'm good.
So, Tip, I really appreciate you. You can go. I sent you a link where you can go to the comment section with the guys over there. Look like they're chatting over there. So get over there and comment. If you hear anything you want to comment to, it's all good.
Alrighty then. Thank you guys.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Bye-bye.
I'll see you tomorrow, Tiff. Okay.
See you tomorrow.
Hey, you
Good
be
stuff.
cutting people out of here quick.
Hey, man, we got a production to run here.
Oh Lord, Mark is when Tiff was on, he said that he's heard it described as Brentwood hello. Is that another word for a blowjob? Brentwood hello? I don't know. You said in the military community. I think in the military community, what she was doing was referred to as recon.
Recon. Yeah. Listen, if you're not running a background check, you ain't dating properly.
Oh
Right,
yeah.
right.
Like
Right.
I don't care who you say you are, you need to do a background check. And it
Yeah.
takes 5 minutes. You can find out their court records, their property records, all of it.
Exactly. So when she brought up the whole potential fellatio thing,
Oh God.
I didn't want to say it like that. I just wanted to be a gentleman about it. I'm always a gentleman, so I didn't want to just say it. So she didn't know what it was until Tamika said, "Trent, you don't know what that is." So I was like,
nobody really calls it that. You walk around saying, "I'm like, can I give you cunnilingus tonight?" Like, what the hell? Who says that?
Yeah.
Nobody says that.
Why are you using $10 words when a quarter word works?
Stop. Can I get some credit for being a gentleman about it?
Okay.
Sure.
Wait, Dee, where's your
my
violin?
condition, y'all
Where's your
always beat me
Dee,
up. I mean,
hold on,
come on, man.
hold on, Trent. Dee, I played your violin last week. We had a moment. We had to play the violin.
1 second. Let me get the bow.
In my condition, y'all always beat me up, and sometimes I'm saying the wrong things, and I get it, but you know what I'm saying. This time, I was very gentlemanly, like, and hey, that was it. Give me some
I was
credit.
trying to play over it, but he kept talking.
Oh my God. I think I was almost about to throw up when she talked about that dude and the smell. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm not the person whose face doesn't just like my face and my whatever I'm thinking or want to say, it just a line. I can't hide it.
Yeah, I don't have a poker face either.
I'm like, could you imagine? Ew. I just couldn't imagine.
So let's go to the second clip. We'll talk about the second clip in a second. The second clip is called "I'm Good," and we'll dig into it in a little bit here. 1 sec. We'll be right back, folks. But honestly though, man, a ton of people, male and female, lack emotional intelligence.
I would agree.
These days, man, they find a word that sounds good and they hover around it, they stay on it and whatnot. But a lot of people are not emotionally fit for relationships, especially in this climate.
That part.
A ton of them are not emotionally fit for relationships. Let's just be honest about it. Because sometimes, let's talk about spinning that block for a minute, right? Mm-hmm. I've had a couple that spin the block on me, and after having conversations with them, I'm like years ahead of you. What are you talking about? I'm thinking this in my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I'm good. Okay. So I chose that. I chose that clip. One sec. There we go. I chose that clip because today in today's climate, man, it's a little different out here, and no honesty out there. So you can stop a headache and stop a heartache when it comes to situations like that. Like when you see the red flag, keep it moving. You could avoid a situationship like that. You know what I'm saying?
The problem is a lot of people think they're going to. Here's the thing. Women will like to date potential.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And people even say, and you hear it all the time, well, you need to build with him. No, you don't need to build with him. He's not a DIY project. You want a DIY project? Go to Lowe's. Right?
Exactly.
People should come into relationships complete and whole and ready to date, which means they haven't healed from the last relationship. The only thing anybody should be bringing to each other is peace.
Oh, yes.
Right? So, and here's the thing. If somebody says, first off, if somebody says she needs to bring me peace, he brings chaos. Walk away from him. Because people talk about what they don't have, not what they do have.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you have peace, you don't have to talk about peace because people feel peace. You exude peace. You exude calmness. But here's the thing. Too many people like to pretend that they've read one self-help book, didn't do any of the work, but they know all the language.
Run that back. I want somebody who's actually viewing this podcast. I know they're viewing this podcast. Run that back and say it again.
They've read the self-help books, haven't done the work, but know the language. Right?
Bingo.
And you see it, I see it all the time in the coaching community. There are some coaches out there I wouldn't throw a stick at because they haven't done any work. They can talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk, right? And you can tell it because if you spend enough time with them, right? And the same thing with anything within the professional development community, because there's lots of people out there who call themselves enlightened, who are the positive vibes only folks, right? If somebody says positive vibes only, or if somebody who disagrees with them has low energy, stay away from them because they haven't done the work.
And those are the folks who everything's awesome. Everything's awesome. Coach Dee, when Shannon was on a break, Coach Dee and I talked about positive, negative energy. You know what I'm saying? Where everything is just awesome. Everything is great. Oh, it's a great day. No, it's not. I'm feeling like shit today. I don't feel like working out. Yeah. It happens. So every day is not going to be a great day. Positivity. Positive. What was the topic called again?
It was toxic positivity.
There you go.
Those are the same guys that say if you're depressed, you need to just get outside and touch grass. I'm like, no, depression is an actual illness, and going outside and touching grass, yes, it may boost your mood a little, but it's not going to cure depression.
Exactly. So my whole point in playing that clip, I wanted people to understand that, you could avoid situationships. Like in my early years, I didn't avoid it. I was the situationship who caused problems and brought toxic to the party, a whole bunch of toxic to the party. And I want people to understand that, hey, man, you don't have to go into the situationship just because the guy is honest with you. Just because, I got a girlfriend, but, this, that. Why would you even inject yourself into that toxic situation? This dude, let's just call it what it is. This bum is still living with his ex-girlfriend. Yeah. That's not healthy. And you talking about entering a relationship with a woman who's healthy, got her shit together, financially fit, physically fit. That's not healthy. That is not healthy.
Well, it depends. If they're co-parenting a child, they could be co-parenting. It could be a platonic relationship. So there are those situations that help because people are grown. And it's 20, So here's the thing. I get it.
But go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing. We've all been toxic at some point of our lives, right? If somebody says they've never been the toxic in relationship, walk far away because they're a narcissist and they can't admit accountability for anything, right? Because at some point in our lives, we've all been toxic because we're human beings and we learn how to behave socially and how we learn social interactions, right? And as we age, our social interaction change and our behaviors change. If you're still behaving the same at 40 that you were at 20, then you've not grown.
Right? Something wrong. Yeah.
There's something going on. And that's why I tell people, if you're still doing things at 54 that you were doing at 24 and 34, you need to stop, take a good look in the mirror, and reevaluate yourself. Because I'm sorry, there's a lot of people in the men in the dating market who've been community peen for 30 years and think their market value is a lot higher than it is. And then they're like, well, you're just gonna grow old with your cat. I'm like, have you seen my cat is beautiful? Have you seen my cat? She is kind, she lowers my blood pressure.
I'm glad you brought that up. I am
What
so
the
glad you
heck
brought
that
that
is?
up. I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm
What?
always being told about Kobe. I'm always being told about Kobe. And when I say I'm good, I'm good. I don't, you know. And actually, to be honest with you, I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago with she'll go nameless, and she mentioned that, talk about Kobe. Well, who's gonna take care of you when you get old? That's what I got daughters for. That's what I'm saving for, and I'm comfortable. I'm cool. But everybody who's comfortable being single, they're not dead. That's not a death certificate.
Well,
You know what I'm
actually,
saying?
for statistically, the people who live the longest are single childless women.
I knew you were
Followed
gonna
by
bring that, but we're
married.
not talking about women right now. Knock it off. I knew you were gonna go there.
If you hadn't cut me off, I would have said next behind them is married men. But since you want to be rude
I'm sorry.
and not
I
pay
apologize.
attention,
Go
right?
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Don't. It's not nice because then you don't get all the information, and then you look like an A, right? So when you look at the demographics and the statistics, married women live shorter lives because they spend their lives caring for others and not caring for themselves.
Right.
Single men live shorter lives because nobody's caring for them. Whereas married men live longer lives because they're being cared for, and single women live longer lives because they're caring for themselves.
Well, I'm not gonna be forced into a marriage or a relationship just because the numbers say different. Not gonna happen.
I don't
Why,
think you
why
got
are
to
you
worry about
strapping on shoes
anybody
again?
forcing you into anything.
Why are you strapping on shoes? Nobody asked you about
I'm just
you.
saying.
Right.
So
Again,
let me go off. Let me go off topic here for a second, where people are always saying, "Oh, you're so mean to Dee and Shannon and this and that, and you need to apologize publicly." Did you guys just see the way she checked me? Did you guys just see and hear the way she checked me?
Listen, if anybody's ever concerned, at no point will I let Trent get away with anything. So
I'm the victim over here, folks. I am the victim.
You are far from the victim, sir.
Oh, dear God in hell, right.
Oh,
again with the violin.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, don't make me get it back out again.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yes,
like
I wanted to go ahead. I'm sorry.
Look, somebody sent me a text. I love how protective everybody is, but believe me, I'm good. I will curse him out 10 times on a Sunday, no problem whatsoever. Yeah, they're like, Dee, I'm gonna curse him out. And I'm like, be nice, y'all. People are ready to fight you, Trent.
It's okay. I get it every week. I get it every week. I'm sorry. I get it every week. I get it every week. So
listen, I have a T-shirt. I don't know where it's at though. It has a honey badger and it says, "I swear I'm a delight."
If you folks heard how these ladies talk to me offline, being a sick and shedding, if you guys heard the way these ladies talk to me sometimes, like yesterday, Shannon hung up. No, day before yesterday, she just random, just bam, hung up in my face.
You probably deserved it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Really,
but
it's all good. All good. Go ahead.
We've known each other too long to even pretend to play games. It's like, I know who you are. I know what you're saying. If I'm going to be offended by it, I'm going to tell you. Like, wouldn't be the first time I told you to F off. Won't be the last.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
So So thank you all for being protective. It's very sweet, and I love that you guys pay attention. You care about me. But yeah, I can handle him. I ain't worried about it.
Mark made a comment. He said, "Community D." He said that brother is doing his civic duty. Hillary said it takes a village.
Yeah.
That's so wrong, but it's so funny.
Actually, I'm glad Mark said a comment there, because it reminded me of we're gonna be podcasting on tomorrow. We're gonna have a special podcast, Mark and I, on tomorrow. at 7 p.m. You guys don't want to miss this.
God help
It's
Oh,
all
the
about
God.
the
internet.
guys.
God
All
help
about
the
the
internet.
guys. Why are you saying that, Shannon? Stop.
God
Be
help
nice.
the internet with you and Mark. Ain't no telling. Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
He
7
said
p.m.
most
sharp, folks. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading the comments. He said most
Okay.
Sunday night round this time, Mr. Epic's condition
It kicks in.
kicks in.
Now that's a
Mhm.
friend. That's a friend of 40 years who knows that I get spasms around this time. Almost, when it's time to close the show, I get spasms, man. I gotta grab my brace.
That's the good Lord
Yeah.
telling you to sort yourself out.
Stop.
We had a new, well, at least a new viewer to me that was in the comments, Miss C. I can't see the rest of
It's
the name, but
Cosmopolitan.
is that who that is?
Yeah. She said background checks absolutely.
Yeah, she was great. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Listen, man.
Okay, good stuff.
Especially now.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. So I wanted to circle back on that topic. One, because Dee was out and she missed out because I knew she was gonna get down to the coaching of it all and the trauma of it all and the whys. Wanted to get to the whys. So I want to circle back on it because it was, it's a topic very important. It sounds, situationship. Like Tiffany didn't even know what situationship was. I was like, I'm more than sure you was in a potential situationship. You know what I'm saying? And it's serious, man. It's not, it sounds funny, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? When somebody's going into exactly, when somebody's going into a situationship unaware and don't know, you need to know the signs, man, and what it is, and you need to know how to move, in and out of that situation. You know what I'm saying?
Or you can go into them willingly. I mean, there are definitely those instances in which people are very upfront and candid and transparent with each other, and those are the terms that they both want to be on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's all about communication. Communicate. So you know exactly where you're sitting.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be wanting to get married to somebody and you're 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years in, and then you find out he dumps you and you marry somebody else because you were just a holding place the whole time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't let your boyfriend or girlfriend stand in the way of your husband or wife.
Right. And don't go into a situationship with hopes or dreams that it's going to turn into a relationship if that's what you really want.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen. I'm glad you brought that up. Go ahead.
Mark said we should call tomorrow night show the conversations in prime time.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm talking about. It's
you know what? I had the whole visual of Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco with the show they do.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a real good one. It's gonna be a real good one.
I'm just going because you haven't asked me, but I did not put the poll up, but I did talk to my friend, so I don't have stats to show you because I didn't ask a broad one. But you were right. So the question or the takeaway was that women have, what do we call it? Penis on call or dick on call?
We call it penis on call penis. On call penis where
so it was
you hit that emergency button. Hey, you gotta have it. You gotta have it.
You got somebody you could call, and the consensus was yes. That's pretty accurate.
I am a man of my word,
and that will be a situationship.
Yeah,
coffee exactly. Coffee is on me. I am a man of my word. Shannon said that she would go out and get the numbers because I told Shannon, because Shannon act like a deer in headlights.
Say you were right.
Shannon act like a deer in headlights when I asked her that question. She was like, ooh.
Well, I mean, no, but you know what? But I told you afterwards because I said one of my friends checked me. It was like, because I was like, no, but it's like, it's not necessarily have to be the person that it's not like it's a person you want. It could be somebody that you may not necessarily you want to be with, but that if you gave them a chance, they would take you up on it.
Absolutely.
So
I believe in my personal opinion. Before I say that, I'm going to say it. Shannon and the audience, coffee on me. You said you come back with it, so coffee on me. Everybody knows that she loves the Starbucks, so coffee on me.
I do.
I thought you said you're a gentleman. You should be buying her coffee anyway.
We can't even get lip gloss.
Shannon. Shannon. Shannon, I don't buy coffee. Shannon.
I mean, you have once or twice, but we'll see. We'll see if you come through this time.
Hold on a second. First of all,
No,
you had a whole
stop. Don't just
scripted.
stop. Just stop. You have one. I said you have once or twice.
See,
So
now she cut me off because she don't want me to say what I want to say here. But we're gonna leave that alone. We're gonna leave that alone. So good stuff, man. Good stuff.
don't look. You are healed from your sins of the past. So leave it at that.
Why I have to be the sinner? Why do I have to be the sinner? I'm the victim here.
Oh Jesus, he beneath the wheel.
Hey, we
Ladies
have
and
4
gentlemen,
minutes. Can we do a quick public service announcement?
Yes.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. So, because we have an international audience, if you are traveling to the United States, 1, deactivate all your social media prior to arriving at the airport of your departure. You do not want to come into the United States with any social media. They will turn you away. They will hold you because they will look at your phone if you're of the demographic that they are checking. I've had Canadian friends have their phones and laptops confiscated at the border.
Wow.
So make sure that and I tell people either get a burner phone or make sure everything is deactivated and have a PIN, not a fingerprint, right?
Yeah.
So just be careful out there. Carry your documentation with you. I know it sounds horrible. I carry my passports with me everywhere I go because Dodge has all of our information now. So if you were a citizen who had a temporary social security number, who now that social security company, as you go through the process, my first social security card said valid with work permit only, right? That social security number is now mine, but it did at one point have that designation. So they know that now. So they have all our information. And when I say everything, I'm like, we're talking the health department, education department, tax department, Veterans Affairs. All that information is now being used and comprised to track people down.
Right? And we're gonna stop right there because since we've actually crossed over, we've been having problems. We've really been having problems on the platform. So we're gonna be mindful and careful with what we say and how we say it because we're actually being monitored. So you know what I'm saying?
So just make sure you're careful. Everything I'm locking everything down. So if you're following me on Facebook, you'll have to friend me because you won't see anything anymore if you're just following.
But it's all good in the neighborhood, and we're gonna always bring you guys transparent podcasts, and you can always get the GuMbOtAlk, of course. But we're not gonna stop talking politics just because we're not gonna do that.
No,
we're still gonna do the nutritious show over in France every week because I think that health is wealth, and the situation that you guys, the audience, know the situation I'm in as far as with this recovery, and I have a nutrition show that I do with nutritious coach over in France, and a lot of information that she share, people here in the States don't have. Yeah. But I'm not gonna stop that. So Taylor Kennedy Media is gonna constantly push the content to push you guys forward and move you guys forward in a positive manner. So it's all good though. All good.
I just repotted all my tomato plants. I have to repot my cucumbers for my garden this summer.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. If you're a courser, I give you the extras because I have a ton of extra plants.
So Mark had two comments. He going back to the whole nightcap club, the reference to Shannon Sharp and Chad's show. He said it won't be anything like Shay Shay and Chad's nightcap, like the former VP we tried to tell Shanna Bright. So whatever. And he says springing for Unmagic Johnson's coffee once or twice sounds like a pattern. No,
ain't that so?
It doesn't sound like a pattern to me at all.
We're not gonna talk about coffee because once again, I'm a victim. So we're not gonna talk about coffee anymore. But Shannon,
let me know where you got that violin. I need to get one for I need to get one too. I need one over here.
We got it at I think it was at one of the Japanese stores.
Okay, yeah, I need to get one. World's smallest violin.
All to the good. So what you ladies got going so we can get out of here because Kobe needs to walk and he's gonna be coming up in a minute. He's the star of the show. I'm the monkey in his circus.
I don't have much planned this week. Xavier's off, so he's gonna be playing video games. I'm just gonna do. I'm gonna do some organizing and get my garden stuff and plant some seeds. because I have to get some other flowers and stuff going.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Shannon Banana.
Yeah,
Shannon Banana.
preparing for Easter and actually preparing for a relaunch of Tops and Bottoms. So earlier this weekend, I've been working on new recipes and new packaging. So hopefully I'll have some things ready to go out for a couple of things, maybe locally for Easter.
Sweet.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what
Sounds
I'm talking
good.
about.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can get some complimentary cookies and test them out. I'll be the taste tester again. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, you get some complimentary cookies when we get some complimentary lip gloss.
Right. I'm trying to think, how many boxes did you already have that were complimentary? So you know what they taste like. Like at this point, you know.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kobe's calling. He's ready to go for a walk.
All right.
Good stuff. You guys want to close out? We'll get out of here. I think Mark said something. We'll get out.
He just says, he was saying about the coffee pattern. He says, because it went from none to once or twice. Sounds like Exhibit A. I'm sure it does. You know what? I think I might tune in to watch this thing tomorrow with you and Mark. You know, I might tune in. It's 7 o'clock.
It's going to be quite
tomorrow.
interesting.
7 Central.
7 sharp. We're in prime time tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Prime time.
I'm not gonna be a witness in case the FTC comes for them.
Good stuff,
right.
man. Good stuff. So,
All
Coach
right,
Dee and I'll be back with the with politics. Maybe in a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, we'll be back.
We'll see how it goes. So good stuff, man.
You gonna have me looking over my shoulder and everything. I've got to go and scrub my social media account.
Nah, you were born here. You're good.
Oh, okay. Well, am I
good,
really? I got to walk.
Nah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm going to say this, and then we can get out of here. Here's the thing. When we start talking about things that the average American doesn't know, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Like with the nutrition show, I mean, we're constantly feeding folks positive, good news on their health, stuff that they don't get here in the States. And then with Dee talking back and forth towards the border, talking about everything in Palestine and all this other stuff, it's been a problem, but it's all good. It's definitely all good.
Yeah.
You know, even in my condition, I'm gonna jump out in front of these ladies and take the bullet. Okay.
And on that note, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks, Tiffany, for coming on and sharing your stories with us. And hey, make sure you go over where we at on YouTube and all that. Smash the subscribe button and come back next week and bring a friend. All right, that was it. It's time for my 90-day fiance. So anything else?
Have a great night, everyone.
Subscribe on Apple. And I want to thank Germany. The Netherlands has been there. So Germany and East Africa. So really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Subscribe. That's
don't ask us to close out
don't
ask us to close out if you're gonna come back and say something else. Just close it out yourself.
You go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're done. Bye. Good night. See you next week.
Good night. Goodbye. Au revoir. A bientôt, dear.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.